So, I think every Slayer fan can agree that Slayer retired a little bit too early. And there's a lot of sour people out there because of that very fact, but no one is more sour than Kerry King, who recently started bashing his ex-bandmates, probably for publicity, because you know, he is releasing a new album under a new band name. But I gotta tell you, even then, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So hello everybody and welcome to a new video and welcome to my channel where we talk about everything music from death metal to Queen and everything in between. So on today's video we'll briefly talk about Kerry King, Kerry King's new band, and their newly released first single off of that album, Idle Hands. Alright, so if you're into metal then you know that Slayer retired a couple of years back. Of course, Jeff Hanneman passed away, Dave Lombardo, the drummer, was actually fired and kicked out, and Tom Araya, the lead singer and bassist for the band, was just done with it. He didn't want to tour anymore. So yeah, with 2 original members out of 4, one of whom didn't really want to tour, the band was as good as done. So Slayer wisely retired. But Kerry King wanted to keep on playing, and that he did. So he decided to go solo, and he decided to name his band Kerry King, his own name. So of course everybody assumed it was going to be him with 3 other dudes, probably unknown, just playing, you know, some good old thrash metal. And we got it halfway right. Kerry King actually built a killer lineup. He got Kyle Sanders from Hell Yeah to play bass, who is probably the least known person on the band. Also, I guess he kept Paul Bostaph, because he used to be the drummer for Slayer, but he recruited Phil Demmel, the guitar player for Violence and Machine Head, and also somehow he convinced Mark Oseguera to be the singer for this band, who is also, of course, the vocalist for Death Angel. So yeah, a pretty cool lineup. So yeah, just being into metal, even though I don't really particularly love all of these bands, you know you would at least get a good product, and that we did. Now of course, Kerry King, after bashing his old bandmates, he's got to put his money where his mouth is. I mean seriously, he just recently said that he had to record all of Slayer's bass because Tom Araya couldn't record his own bass parts. And of course, more shockingly, he said that Dave Lombardo is dead to him. So yeah, now he has to impress the fuck out of us. And now, I'm gonna be completely biased here, but he was always my least favorite member on Slayer. And come to think of it, he's probably my least favorite member on his solo band now. And it's not like I really have anything against the guy. I mean, I actually got a chance to meet him a couple of times, and he was cool enough. But there's something about his personality I just don't jive with. I mean, we can all agree that as a guitar player, he's limited to say the least. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Slayer, but I gotta be objective here every now and then. Anyway, I actually took the time to listen to Diet Slayer, Slayer Light, the Kerry King band. And of course, it does sound a lot like Slayer. But in Kerry King's defense, there's 2 things that made it sound like Slayer. First of all, it was actually a Slayer song. It was actually written for Slayer by Kerry King, and it was meant to be a part of the Repentless album. But once they were done recording it, he didn't really care for it, so they just scrapped it. And second of all, let's be serious, he's just giving the people what the people want. I mean, truth be told, I can't really think of Kerry King playing anything other than thrash metal. And anything other than, you know, Slayer type thrash metal. I can't really think of the guy just playing like Testament or Megadeth style songs. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, I just can't picture it. He might be great at it, to me, he's kind of like Angus Young. I mean, can you really imagine Angus Young playing in a different band other than AC/DC? I mean, even dressed differently? I sure as hell can't. I mean, I imagine him dressed as a schoolboy just walking down the mall. But I digress. So let's talk about the actual song. The song on itself is not a bad song. It's very Slayer-like, which is cool, I guess. I mean, you can definitely tell that the lyrics and the vocals and the vocal lines were actually written for Tom Araya or by Tom Araya. But let me tell you, my favorite part of the song and the band for now is Mark's performance as a vocalist for the band. I was really pleasantly surprised. There's definitely a lot of Tom influence, but man, he just sounds great. I mean, Mark is a great vocalist. He's always been a great vocalist, and I don't think I've ever heard him sing this low on a Death Angel album. So yeah, he's out of his comfort zone, but he's killing it. Now, as far as the bass and the guitars sound, you know, they sound pretty decent. I mean, it is a Slayer type kind of song, so the bass is kind of just buried in the mix, but you can still feel it. It is there. And the guitars sound pretty modern, very well balanced and very well mixed. But my big complaint here is going to be on the drums. The drums sound way too overprocessed. I mean, I'm all for sampling and replacing hits and stuff like that. You know, it's a very common practice, but these sound way overprocessed. Everything sounds very MIDI-like. Everything is very compressed, very lined up to the grid, and very robotic sounding, if you ask me. And the thing is, you know, I could get away with it because, I mean, I don't have the budget they have, and I don't have Paul Bostaph kicking the skins. But they do have a great drummer, and they have the budget to actually go and record some decent drums at some awesome studio. So I think this was a missed opportunity to actually bring back some of that rawness from the early Slayer albums. Also, Slayer was one of those bands that always sounded better live than they did in the studio. And to be honest, I always thought that Kerry King would actually enjoy playing live more than recording. So I would have definitely expected more of a live, raw sound when it came to his solo songs. But yeah, it's just the first song. Again, it was an extension of Slayer. So yeah, it might be a little bit too early to judge. But as of right now, I am not very excited about Kerry King's debut album. But then again, I wasn't really excited about Slayer's later albums either. So, you know, it's just an extension of that. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please drop me a like if you did. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of the single as far as the song goes and as far as the recording and the production goes. Of course, tell me about Slayer. Because I mean, I love me some Slayer and I love to connect with metal fans. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel like a man if you haven't yet. And if you really enjoy the content, please consider becoming a patron to the channel. A little goes a long way. We surely do appreciate it. If you got a minute or two, check out one of these 2 videos. I'll see you guys next time. Pat out, metal on, dudes.